Hey everyone, it's Jeff and Greg from GamerPops here. Say hello, Greg.
Hello, Greg.
That old gag. That's going to be our intro every single time. We're getting back to the Let's Talk About series of mini casts or whatever you want to call them. Let's get right to this one. We talked a little bit in one of our Let's Talk Abouts after Fan Expo back in August about the whole subscription box concept. And at that point, if you'll remember, if you've been listening to us, you know that we subscribe to various Nerd Block properties. Greg got the Nerd Block proper, and I got the Nerd Block Junior for the boys and the Arcade Block for myself. So now that it's been a few months, I thought we'd sort of record a new discussion sort of following up on where we're at with those subscription services right now. And things have changed a little bit. You know, you've seen some of our unboxing videos as well, hopefully, on the channel. And, you know, you've got an idea of some of the things we've seen, and we thought we'd give you a little bit of update. So why don't I throw it over to you, Greg, first. You had the Nerd Block proper. So what were your thoughts on that in general, and where are you at now with that today?
The short answer was I liked it. I didn't love it. And the biggest thing that made me not love it was just the price once you factor in, you know, it's a great deal if you're in the States. If you're in Canada, it's a good deal bordering on, you know, it was over, I think it was almost $35 by the time you do the conversion and that. So, you know, for me, I liked the t-shirts. The t-shirts were cool. I liked when I got the Funko. You know, I love those pop characters. Everything else was kind of hit and miss. And, you know, I mean, it was nice stuff, but realistically, you know, in the big picture, other than the Funko and maybe the t-shirts, it wasn't stuff I was going to spend money on anyway. And it wasn't really something that I was like really excited to spend $35 a month on. If, like I said, if we were in the States and it was $20, you know, that's an easy sell. But until they figure out that, which I think is the challenge for all subscription services, is that just makes it a real no-go from the get-go. It's
not so much the shipping, because I think the shipping is actually more in the U.S. It's that exchange rate, especially with the dollar being so poor right now from a Canadian standpoint. That's kind of killing it, I think, right?
I think it's a little of both, but I mean, either way, it's because just the base price is different. You know, you look at like, you know, Loot Crate, they're like $13, but once you get into the Canadian, you know, it's at least $10 more.
Yeah, Loot Crate's a totally different story because you know, the shipping, because Nerd Block ships from Canada, so the shipping's a little bit different there. But the problem is they all charge in U.S. dollars, and so it's and with the dollar being what it sort of takes away from the value a little bit when you add in the shipping costs, which you don't really have any control over.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the one thing I will say, the quality was good. You know, got fun stuff in there. You know, I kept some of it. Kids took some of it. You know, I couldn't complain about that, but I think, like I said to you, I could, you know, what I really wanted ultimately, like I said, the t-shirts were nice, but I like the Funko figures. And realistically, rather than spending $35 on a box with a chance to get a Funko, I really could just go out to a number of stores and spend $10, $12 and get a Funko, and I'm happy. So it was just, you know, when you do kind of factor everything in and look at, you know, that sort of regular, you know, is it worth it? For me, it wasn't so much.
Yeah, and I think something else we talked about off air was, you know, one of the issues with the Nerd Block is that it's very generalist, right? It's got to encompass a lot of pop culture type of things, whereas some of their other blocks are a little bit more focused on certain areas. Which unless you're into all things pop culture, you're gonna get some duds with, you know, items from properties you either haven't heard of or don't care about.
Yeah, and they're getting a little bit better. You know, sort of following, you know, with the sort of example of Loot Crate, where every month is themed on that sort of general one. So you have an idea of what you're going to get into. They've been getting into some curated stuff, some themed pieces. So I think they're kind of moving in that direction where, you know, you're going to get nerdly stuff no matter what, but, you know, maybe a little more focused vision of what you're going to be getting.
Mm-hmm.
But then on your side with the arcade stuff, I mean, that was pretty much a hit from the get-go, right?
Yeah, it was. And I ended up going 1 for 2. The arcade block I am keeping. Pretty much every month I've gotten something, a couple things pretty neat. The shirts have have been pretty nice. Although the quality of them is a little bit something to be desired. I've already gotten a hole in one of the shirts, although it could be for my cats and the wash making that worse. But it's a very thin material. But you're not really getting it for the quality of the T-shirt. You're getting it for the interesting pop culture references or mashups that are involved with them. And in every block so far, I've gotten a really neat item that has made it sort of worth that $32 Canadian that I think I'm spending now. Like I got a Lara Croft Tomb Raider bust 1 month. I got a Assassin's Creed Funko, which was money for me. Another month, I got a neat Portal 2 scarf, one of those fancy scarves that you get. The last month. So I'm pretty happy with most of this stuff, and the kids have also claimed some of the smaller items too in it. So that kind of made the Nerd Block Junior almost redundant. And that one, the Nerd Block Junior, that's the one that I end up canceling. The boys liked the stuff they got, but it was, I think it came down the same thing as you did. Yes, it's cheaper. It doesn't include a T-shirt. It's about 21 Canadian a month, I think it worked out to. But it was the same thing you said. I could go out and probably buy other little things for less and not get some things that the kids didn't have as much interest in. Now, sometimes they wanted the box more than some of the items, to be quite honest. But then kids love boxes, right?
And you live within walking distance of a Walmart, so you could easily go get $20 worth of junk.
And a Toys R Us,
right?
And a dollar store. So I mean, it's I could just spend the money on a Skylander or things like that. The items were okay, but not as consistently cool, I guess, as what I got with the arcade block. So that's why I'm going to keep the arcade block. The kids will still get stuff out of that, and we'll just share the arcade block between us. So,
now,
and that was again, I think that was the specialist aspect of the arcade block. We love video games in this house, so it's going to be easier for more items to hit than with the Nerd Block Junior, where sometimes we got toys for properties we'd never heard of.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Skylanders, the second part of this conversation is kind of looking at what kind of blocks or subscription services we would be interested in. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Loot Crate is doing is they're working with Nintendo on their Amiibo subscription service, which I think is a little unusual and at first might seem a little weird, but I think it's actually a really brilliant way to kind of take this this subscription service idea to that logical next step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and actually, of course, I'm just checking out their website right now. You can't even get them anymore. They've sold out of those pretty fast.
Wow. So I guess they must have just had a given number, and that was that. But the idea was you would subscribe, and every month, was it every month?
I think so.
Yeah. So every month you would get a different Amiibo figure. Could be the same. I'm just looking up details if there's anything available, but
it's an Amiibo of the Month Club.
Yeah, like it wasn't anything like where they weren't special Amiibos or anything that you couldn't get in stores, but at least it guarantees, I guess, that you would get it. Mm-hmm. Which it sounds like some of these are a little rare or unusual. So, some of the Amiibo figures.
Yeah.
So it might be the best way that you could have actually got that. So that's a great idea. And then the one that you and I were talking about that we would both take like the annual subscription to right here, right now, would be a Lego subscription box.
Yeah.
Where if they could guarantee, you can get your Lego magazine, maybe you get some stickers and stuff, and then, they've got all kinds of Lego sets of different values and sizes and that. Like we would both, I think, sign up for that, like I said, immediately.
Yeah, and you talked about the Funko thing. If they just did someone did a Funko subscription, you'd be all over that too, right?
Yeah. Like it'll be curious because you're seeing a lot of companies that are setting up as almost these sampler things. What like the healthy snack ones? I know there's a couple of them there.
Yeah.
But it's that idea of like you can try different things, and I think it's just a matter of time. And maybe the Amiibo is that first kind of tentative step to seeing companies take a real serious approach to, let's put our specific product out there on a subscription basis. And like I said, for the right product like Lego, sign me up. Here's my credit card number.
Sure. So that's our quick update and on where we're at with subscription services. We may have more updates for you in the future. We'll see how things shake out. For the time being, that's it for this episode. Thanks a lot for listening. I'm Jeff.
I'm Greg.
And we'll talk to you again real soon.